guys, so welcome to yet another podcast. I'm here with Alvaro. You know Alvaro.
Hi guys.
Anyway, today we're going to be focusing on the Hofzinser'S problem because Ottokar Fischer he published a book about Hofzinser's card magic and also Hofzinser conjuring. We're going to focus on the blue book from Hofzinser's card magic. And in the back of the book, there are some ace problems. These are supposedly effects that Hofzinser has performed one time or another, or actually, I think used to perform a lot, although they're being called problems because they don't know what exactly he used to perform or say, and also they don't know the exact method to it. So it's just effects that he thinks Hofzinser has performed, and there's just very fake descriptions of effects, which gives us problems, which are interesting to us because it opens up the mind for imagination, but also for trial and error to see why are these things problems? How should they be? Like, and why is he using two cards instead of four? And you'll see in a bit what I mean with that. It's interesting to read and interpret. We're gonna focus on this for in our Patreon as well. We're gonna set up a study club to study a problem each month. And with that being said, let's get into it.
Let's go. So basically, in the appendix of the book, there are like 18 problems. Okay, it's like 18 facts that he apparently performed in the past. Ottokar Fischer wasn't sure about the effect in some occasions, but mainly he didn't know the method. Okay. So why I think these experiments are very interesting, because if we talk about creativity, is going to give us, like a main plot to develop work in a very clear direction, like trying to find a method to fulfill the premise. There are
Why do
many
you
other,
think this is important for creativity?
because sometimes in creativity, when you don't have like walls, it's in my opinion, it's harder being creative without walls than with walls, because with walls you know what to do and you find like details and you find
Oh, that's interesting because something a bit off subject, but I've also been studying a bit of blues music lately, and like the blues schemes and stuff. And then the guy who wrote the book, he was actually saying in the beginning, like, well, you might think that being restricted to a 12-bar blues scheme makes you less creative and you have less freedom. But actually, there's a lot of freedom to be found within the scheme because of those rules, it gives you something to play with, and because you have something to play with, you have something to be creative with, and it's aimed towards something instead of being something completely random.
Yeah, I think this basically gives you, like the direction to go, where to go. So for example, if I tell you write a song, it's like, oh my god, yeah, I can do whatever I want, but at the same time it's like, oops, it's like too big. But
Right.
if I tell you, like, could you write a ballad, on C major, about a girl who's crying because I don't know, and then you develop a story, then you know where to investigate, and how to try to get these sounds and everything. So in my opinion,
Or
this is
to
the
put
same.
that into a magical context, do an ambitious card without a double lift.
Yeah, that's what we have talked about a lot of times. That it was
Mm-hmm.
one of the challenges that I used to give to my students, like design an ambitious card routine with the techniques that but you can't use the double lift. And I think it is like quite interesting. So we have like 18 problems. If you want, we can start reading one by one. There are some of them that in my opinion are like super super interesting. I've done some of them in front of an audience, and especially I love the one
Mm-hmm.
with the cards and the bill, bank
Mm-hmm.
bill. But there are many others that I really like. Well, we can go
So
with it.
To give you an example of the problems, the first problem is called the choice of suits. And the
Mm-hmm.
problem is as follows: 8 cards are drawn from a pack and placed face down on the table. Someone will be asked to name one of the 4 suits of cards. The 8 cards on being turned over will be all of that suit.
Yeah. So one of the questions that many people, make themselves, it's like, first one, why 8 cards and not
Mm-hmm.
5 or 13? Well, we have to make a note here. At that time, decks had, like 32 cards. So it was like 8 cards per suit. It makes sense, but at the same time, it doesn't matter the number of cards. The important thing is like the context and how you distribute, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the actions and the thing, So in my opinion, like naming, okay, a suit, it's very important. I'm not sure if Hofzinser was asking to think of a suit before giving the cards, okay,
Mm-hmm.
or it was just name a suit, whatever.
Yeah, because I mean, if we have to believe the interpretation of the text, it says 8 cards are drawn from the pack and placed face down on the table, and then someone will be asked to name one of the 4 suits of cards. Right. So in the description, the cards are being named, or the suit is being named after the cards have been drawn. Now there are also some other things that we don't know, of course, which is like, well, are there cards being looked at? Does every audience member know the identity of the card, or have they just picked a card and it's being put down and no one knows what it is until the person has said heart? And then how was he using it? Was it all those cards were picked, someone said hearts, and they were in some way maybe clairvoyant and they predicted what happened and they predicted sort of this coincidence? Or was this maybe a color change? Was it hearts and then everything changed to hearts? But I think, like you said, a much more interesting interpretation is to first ask someone to think of a card, to ask this person, hey, just think of any card you want. Got it? Okay, just forget the number and just remember the suit, okay? And then let multiple people pick a card. This can be 8 people, it can also be 6 people, or 13, however much you want. And then this guy says diamonds, and then all the cards which the people hold are diamonds.
Yeah, I
And
think. Yeah.
why do you think that's more powerful?
Well, it's for a simple reason. Simple reason. If I leave a card on the table face down, okay, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
asking for anyone to take a card. I'm just leaving a card
Mm-hmm.
face down on the table, and someone names a suit, and the card that I left is the same suit. This picture is the same that if I leave 2 cards, if I leave 5 cards, or if I leave 13 cards of the same suit, and we have the coincidence. Okay, so giving the cards to be chosen, okay, before asking for someone to think of a suit, in my opinion, is just you are accentuating like that you have the skill or the ability to
Mm-hmm.
to to them to select, like the same suit or the cards that you want. But if you make someone to think of a card, a suit, sorry, before, you're accentuating that this, it's going to be very important. It's going to conditionate everything, you know. So, like, in my opinion, it is just an interpretation, but the timing and the distribution of the actions here are very important because now having this a thought card, you
Mm-hmm.
have a challenge because you don't know anything about this. So from the beginning of the selections, every suit can be the selected one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's sort of like if you first let everyone pick something and then let someone say it, you're creating the idea that I can let all of you pick the cards I want and I can make you say what I want you to say, which is hard. And look, all you guys got hearts. But if you make someone think of something before it, so we say, for think of a suit, and then we do something, then there are multiple interpretations, which either he read the person's mind maybe, and then he did this thing, or it could still be interpreted as you influenced him to think of this, and then he picked this. But more ideally, with a proper presentation, it's they thought of something, and because they thought of something, this really big event happened.
Yeah, because if we ask if I start saying, please think of a suit, but this person doesn't say anything, you know, every suit is on the table, you know, like it's like anything can be selected on, you know. So then I have to make a decision, even if they think that I'm forcing or something like that. I have to do something, and I have to make a decision over the cards to force or to offer, you know. And then when this person names the suit, anything can happen, you know, like he can change his mind or whatever. At the same time, it's like if you don't ask before, the cards are there, and you are just
I'm gonna say something, and I don't know if it makes sense. But
yeah,
what came up to me is if we let
Cucumber.
them pick the card, cucumber. If we make them pick the card by, if we make them think of the suit after the cards have been picked, then essentially what we have shown is I can make you pick all these. I can make all of you pick a heart, and now I can influence you to say heart.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Whereas if we influence or if ask them before to think of a suit, it's more sort of a mind reading. It becomes more of a mentalism ish piece, where it's like think of a suit, okay, and then they all pick a card. Now I'm so sure that I read your mind correctly, or that I know what you're thinking of. Say your suit hearts, and then all of those are hearts. You know, so the context sort of changes, or yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, totally. I know what you mean. I agree. It's like, yeah, in my opinion, it changes everything, you know. Experience. Yeah. You wanna go with the second one? Because I have this Spanish
well, no, but it's
version.
also interesting because the first one where they pick the suit afterwards sort of has more of a feeling that I'm doing this because I can.
Yeah. Well, we can talk here about my version of this plot if you want. That adds, in my opinion, adds something. It can sound like typical, but at the same time, it gives like this random thing, you know, like there are two people thinking of suits. One of them selects a card and he forgets about the number or the value. He just thinks of the suit. And the other person freely thinks of a card, you know, like the suit of a card. The second person is freely thinking. Okay, it's not like, and then there are like some selected cards on the table. So when the first one says, for example, clubs, okay, is the suit, we turn, what card did you pick? The 5 of clubs, and you the king of clubs, and you the 8 of clubs, and you the 3 of clubs, and you the ace of clubs. That's like this. Then we turn everything over and we ask for the second one. You say, but imagine that the chosen suit, you know, wearing like clubs. It would have been, and you say, what's your thought suit? You say diamonds. So I would ask you, what card did you pick? And the spectator is going to answer the 5 of clubs. And I said, no. He's thinking of diamonds. So it would have been the 5 of diamonds, the 8 of diamonds, the king of diamonds, the 3 of diamonds, and the ace of diamonds. So you're respecting the thing of respecting the values, that changing the suit makes something very interesting. Doesn't matter the cards. It's like more about the situations. Like you're doing like a coincidence, giving the coincidence like something even stronger. It's like, yeah, they chose some cards, but at the same time, from the beginning there was a two chosen suits. What I think it's very powerful. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, let's go with the second one if you want.
Okay. Second one, the changed cards. Two aces are placed on the table. A card is drawn from the pack, and the pack well shuffled. One ace will disappear, and in its place will appear the drawn card. This will again disappear, and the original ace return. So you told me that this is probably where the Hofzinser'S ace problem comes from, because someone thought, hey, let's do this with four aces.
Well, that's what people say. It's like I think someone thought like, yeah, we should do it with the four aces, and someone thought of like making the other ace travel to the deck, back to the deck, reversed. There's a very famous book. I don't have it here. I have it in London. Sorry, so I can't show you. But there's a book written by Vicente Canuto. He's one of Juan Tamaris's closest friends. And I think every magician from Spain who loves card magic started with that book. And he has a piece of magic called Viaje Insospechado, like unsuspected trouble, something like that. And the effect is like simple, like four aces, a selected card in the middle of the deck. The ace of the suit of the card is reversed between the aces, and then you spread the deck, and the deck is face up, and there's a face down card. And then we have here, what should we turn up first? The card in the deck or the card between the aces? So we turn first the card in the deck because it's an ace, and then you go to the aces and it's the selected card. Okay. It's a beautiful thing, beautiful plot. Yeah, and it's very, very powerful. So when
a lot of people still play wrong, in my opinion, but because a lot of people sort of don't give the audience enough time to assimilate what's happening.
Yeah.
And they don't respect the structure of the problem enough, the effect enough. So essentially, for a lot of people, it's like they do this, like they wave the aces above the deck, spread it, and they say, look, one card is turned face down, showing me that your card is this, but not asking anything. And then they say, but also look, then one card in the deck is face down. This card is your card, and this card is the ace, and this is your card. Okay, but respecting it much more, and also giving the audience a role in it. You should wave it, put it down, and then say, okay, watch. And then you spread it, and let's say the spade is face down. And you just count those cards, and on the spade, and you go like, what's your card, a spade? And they go, yeah. Right? And then you take the deck, and you make the magical gesture above the ace, and you say, but look, if we now do this, and you spread the cards, also one card in the deck turns face down. What was your card? We know it's a spade, but what was it? King of spades. And you look down, you wait a bit, build a drum, the king of, wait, what? And it's the ace of spades. And then you just look slowly over to the aces, and you sort of wait for them a bit to realize, like, what the fuck? What's there? And then once they have asked that to themselves, don't have to say it out loud, just ask that question to themselves, then you turn it over.
I think the interpretation that you made was the correct one, like respecting the timing. And I think there's also something related to this that you said that has to do with the interpretation, like the presentation. for example, in the past, I developed a very weird and stupid, it was like a silly version, interpretation of the plot. But the intention behind this, I think it was like a good one, like my idea was like creating, like this kind of movies where they follow like a deductive method to find the killer, So I was having the four aces out, and I was saying like, we're going to follow a deductive method to find your card. So I had the four aces face down, and I said, first of all, we have to turn down one of the cards. No, to reverse a card. Okay, so I had the aces face down, and I did like a move, and all the aces were face up. And I was saying, but not all the aces, just the one who has the same suit that your card. So then I waved the aces, and I was asking, what was your suit, the suit of your card? Diamonds, and the diamonds was face down. And then I said, and the same is going to happen in the deck, but we need to find more evidences. So I was like kicking a little bit with the touching the deck with the aces. I spread the deck, and there was one card face down in the middle. And I said, but we can try to find more evidences, because this face down card is between a 3 and a 4. So 3 plus 4 is 7. Was a 7-year card the value of the card? I said, yes. So everything, all the information of the card, was known, by the spectators before we were turning, So it was a deductive method. And then I was turning up the card. It was the ace, and then you went to. So I think it's like too much. Okay.
It's a bit too much, as in that now we've presented so much focus on that the card should be there, and it transposes, and all the things that happened before got lost.
Yeah, so it's like too much, but at the same time, I think like the intention, like trying to follow, like a deductive thing. I think there's something else there. So after this version, I arrived to my Invisible Cape version that I've published in Chelsea. Really? Yeah. It was the process. Yeah. I actually don't really like Hofzinser'S problem, ace problem. I don't really like it at all, because I have like a huge problem.
So here's the thing, like I do this problem, I do the Hofzinser ace problem in my show. And I'm also in love with this, I think it's called effect from Helder, called I think Helter Skelter. It's the 4 ace transposition on on the Red Mirror DVD. The asymmetrical ace transposition, which is an effect I love. And I wanted to put it into my show, and then there was this discussion in myself, like, okay, but I want this effect in the show because it's a really powerful, strong piece of magic. But I already have the Hofzinser ace problem. And essentially, they're both transposition type effects. So, what are we going to do? And the only place for that piece in the show was right after the ace problem or right before it. So that's already not great, and the most ideal place would be right before it, but then that transposition is much stronger than just one card going. So I was thinking a lot, and eventually I decided to not do Helder's effect in the show and just stay with the ace problem. But that was mainly because I have a presentation of the ace problem which focuses on a lot of symbolism, and the symbolism in it really built the story and built the plot of the show, and it was so strong that the symbolism was stronger than the effect itself, than Helder's effect, and because of that reason I decided to keep it. But I have never liked it before until I found a proper story with a proper reason to tell it.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting, right? This effect, like it can either be, how do we say? It can be an effect which is either amazing if you present it correctly, or you can do it as the first effect you ever do, and you go like, "Wow, this sucks."
Well, I think it is like something that I said in the last post about anticlimax that I
Mhm.
posted, about a homing card plus, sorry. Um, some routines, effects, moments can work, but doesn't
Mhm.
mean like it is well done, like all well structured. For example, Gabi used to say when he was gonna show the apparently the selected card, it was the ace. He used to say a sentence similar to sometimes my wires get crossed,
Mhm.
like a problem in the machine,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
your
yeah.
phone. And I think he was saying this sentence because he was very clever for this kind of things, like not for free. I think he was saying it because sometimes we reduce the conversation about this effect on the effects. But if you don't keep in
Mhm.
mind like the phenomenon, it's impossible to understand because it's a transposition, yeah, but the ace, the card reverse between the aces is giving you some information, and the deck is following the same steps than the aces. So maybe
Mhm.
we should think of a parallel reality for the phenomenon, you know, or something like we're like in Matrix. It is closer to Inception movie than a transposition.
Mhm.
So if we reduce everything to the effect, okay, but I would love to go deeper. Just because I'm honest with myself and I say I'm
Mhm.
not prepared to avoid or to handle this. I prefer to develop something different, like my invisible card piece, and
Mhm.
um, and yeah, I'm still working on Hofzinser'S Ace problem, but I'm still a little bit lost. Yeah. Well, next one we have 18. I don't know if I think we have
Sure.
to rush.
Oh, we
So
don't have
sorry,
to
my
go
fault.
over all of them.
Yeah, my fault.
Your fault. Oh my god, overall.
Oh,
Okay, so the next one, the cigarettes packet. A card is drawn as shown and placed in the cigarette packet held by a spectator. A second card is drawn. On command, the card in the cigarette packet will be found to have changed places with the card in the conjurer's hand.
yeah,
And the interesting thing to start off already with is you have the Spanish edition, which is also translated from a German edition, and
yeah,
you said that in there it says cigar box rather than
yeah,
cigarette packet.
yeah. It's a cigar box, and yeah, thinking of this last taste, I realized that I would leave the card inside the box face up.
Really?
But let me
We
tell
had a
you why.
discussion about this, and you
Yeah,
said you said I was wrong. It should be.
yeah. But I would open the box against to the audience, so they wouldn't see the card. So I would show it just to the spectator next to me, asking, "Is it the other card?" Yes, and then I would turn the box and leaving
Mm,
it on the table. That's why. If not, I would leave it face down
yeah, right.
because this other strategy, leaving it face up, is like more a mentalism strategy about showing it first and then asking. And I think
Mm,
this is the right way. But yeah, I guess like with the cigars, you have all the cigars on the box. So maybe if you leave a card on top of the cigars and something falls or you change or whatever, he's respecting after the change,
mm.
the picture of the cigars with a card on top. And I think that's very
Yeah, but
powerful.
at the same time, like I said, like here in the English text, it says cigarette package. But I think thinking about this, a cigar box makes much more sense. If we think about Where did Hofzinser used to perform? For the upper class people, for the doctors, for the smart people, for the people that enjoyed the parlor. And then a fancy box of cigars is much more likely to have been there than a box of cigarettes. And at the same time, if we are thinking of this, why does he use a cigarette box? Because Hofzinser definitely had the knowledge of duplicate cards. I mean, this man was a genius. He was using freaking gaff cards, and he made gaff cards where you could see through. Although that's a bit of a mislead, because today we have to make gaff cards where we have to make the gaff so that if you shine light on it, we can see through it.
Yeah.
But back in the day, if you held a card in front of a candle, you could actually see through it. Nothing to do with making it special, because now we have to remove the middle layer and put the front layer of another card in there and then the other card on top. But back in the day, Hofzinser could just draw a card, remove the front layer, put another front in front, and then or have another card drawn and glue that on the front, and this would be your see-through card. Of course, you would only have to take care that the pips of the first card would overlap the pips of the middle card, so that if any light would shine through, it wouldn't flash until the back was shown with the candle. That being said, he had definitely had the know-how of duplicate cards, and that gives the question: why did he use a cigar or a cigarette pack or cigar box? We're gonna go with cigar box. Fuck the cigarette package. Why did he use a cigar box? Because we could do the classic today, where someone opens up their hand, other hand goes on top, and the cards transpose. Unless someone picked a card, opened the box themselves, and put that card in the box, and then closed the box. So what if the card never went back to the deck, right? Then it makes sense to use a cigar box. The box was gimmicked.
Yeah.
And then the cigar box makes much more sense than a cigarette package.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah, the main thing is like this and performing to the upper class. I think like cigars are like an element, a special element, for the upper class. Do you know, like, when Hofzinser was performing, Schubert had to cancel his shows because Hofzinser show was sold out and people preferred to go to Hofzinser show than Schubert. Do you know Schubert, the musician? Like, maybe
No.
maybe it is pronounced like this, like Schubert. Yeah,
It doesn't really ring a bell. No.
Franz Schubert. Yeah, let me show you maybe this.
Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell.
Well, so a very important. I love his music.
Still doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, well, so yeah, and actually Hofzinser was using.
Place your hate comments in the comments below.
Actually, Hofzinser was using on his show a picture of a flamenco dancer from Spain. Yeah, it was. So yeah, well, let's go with the next problem.
Next problem. The mystery of the King of Spades.
Next problem. I don't have enough money to pay my bills. Imagine.
Help, we're being cut off of internet. Okay, so next problem. The mystery of the King of Spades. From 4 packs, take 4 picture cards, e.g. King of Hearts, King of Spades, Knave of Clubs, and Queen of Hearts. The packs are placed face down with their backs towards the audience. The conjurer shows the King of Clubs in his hand. It disappears. Next, the conjurer points to one of the 4 packets. It shows it now has the King of Clubs. The remaining 3 cards will also be found to be clubs in order, e.g. Jack, Queen, Ace. Finally, the original 4 cards will appear elsewhere. Yeah.
Well, it's similar to Anywhere, Nowhere, right?
A bit, but he uses 4 packages, right? So they're packets of cards, rather. So it has a bit of a feeling of Everywhere and Nowhere, but at the same time, he's using packets, so it has sort of this
Uh,
feeling of
in the Spanish edition, it just says like cards. Like you put like four, yeah, you put like 4 figures cards in
oh, from 4 packs, take 4 picture cards. So, but wait, does that mean like from 4 different decks, take 4 times the King of Hearts?
no. Look, the Spanish edition says like you put like 4 cards,
Uh-huh.
figures, okay, cards in 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 a stand, okay.
Mm-hmm.
For example, kings of hearts and diamonds and jacks of the jack of clubs and the queen of hearts. Doesn't matter the cards. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You turn around the stands, so the audience is seeing the back of the cards. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The magician shows a king of spades.
Mm-hmm.
The king of spades vanishes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the magician asks to someone to point one of the cards in the stand, and this card transforms into the king of spades. Then the rest of the cards transforms into kings of spades. Finally, these cards transforms all of them to their original identity, and the king of spades appears in a different place.
Yeah, but that's interesting because here it's then like sort of the same, but this stance is not mentioned, which sucks. But also, like it says, next to conjurer points to one of the 4 cards and shows it's not a king of clubs, right? The remaining 3 cards will also now be found to be clubs in order. In other words, Jack, Queen, Ace.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. What I can say is like he was using double indexes cards. It was typical on his magic, so it's easy to think maybe he has an ace. He had an ace, and having an ace, it's easy to make a top change to have like the cover and then showing the rest of the cards together, having the ace on the face as a cover. Okay, thinking of the method. I think it's a strong plot, you know.
Yeah, yeah, but it feels very much like Everywhere and Nowhere. Pretty much, it's that effect.
Yeah. Well, let's go with the next one.
Okay,
I think there's
number
not
5.
to
The 5 changed cards. 5 cards are drawn, then shuffled into the pack. On being asked, the conjurer produces any one of the 3 chosen cards. The other 2 of these 3 are removed from the pack and changed to the 2 remaining cards, which were shuffled into the pack. Thank you for the great translation, Ottokar Fischer.
Well, it's shared, and there is a after him. After Shopee, there is another one who made a better translation. I don't remember now the name. My brain is not different. Well, here, the 5 cards that transforms. Okay, the audience selects 5 cards, and they are mixed on the with the rest of the deck. The artist makes appear 3 cards. Okay, and these 3 cards are 3 of the 5 selections. Okay, and then from these 3 cards he picks 2 of them, and these 2 cards transforms into the 2 cards that were missing.
Which look makes much more sense. Rather than saying Five cards are drawn, then shuffled into the pack. On being asked, the conjurer produces any one of the three chosen cards. Like, wait, what? Any one of the three chosen cards? You just said there were fucking five cards. Okay. Then the other two of these three are removed and changed into the two remaining cards. Essentially, the effect being five cards are picked, returned to the deck, three of them are produced, and then two of these three are picked to be transformed into the two last cards. Why do you think he uses five cards? Why not four?
I think like odd elements and odd um, parts in a structure. It was like the classical structure, and I think Hofzinser had notions on it, and I think everything like, because four, it's okay, but having like the fifth one, to make it like something like more random or something, maybe was giving him like cover, or I don't know.
Yeah, but that's interesting because I would say that structurally, four might be more pretty because it's two cards are found in any way, produced, and then they're changed into the other two cards. But in some way, this structure gives more free choice because there are five cards, and then from those five, three are produced, and then you can pick, well, yo, which two are we going to use? Those two, okay, and then bam, those two are changed into the other two cards, which gives more free choice in some way.
Yeah, it's it's tells me something, that I mean, I I I look reading, like imagine this, this situation
Mm-hmm.
a salon, okay, with
Mm-hmm.
upper class people. Um, there are this kind of doctors and lawyers and important men with their women, their wives.
Mm-hmm.
And Hofzinser asks to someone to pick a card, and then to another man and his wife, and another man and his wife. So he finds three cards, and then he says, well, this card and this card were like the wife's cards, so they are going to transform into husband's cards. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the symbolic thing, it's a symbolic transformation, you know.
Right.
But I'm trying to find, a reason. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying like it was like this. I'm
I
saying
just
like,
thought like the wives are gonna ask husband, honey, why did he use five cards? And he's like, I don't fucking know.
it would have it would have like, imagine, like Hofzinser's wife at home, like, honey, why do you make them select five cards? Then shut up and kiss me. Like he didn't have any answer. What the fuck this?
Shut up and kiss me.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, number
the
six. Oh wait, we just
blank
yeah we
card,
have the
right?
yes, carte blanche or the blank card. A
Yeah.
card is drawn and shuffled into the pack. Now the conjurer will show a blank card or a white sheet of notepaper. Slowly, a picture of the drawn card will appear on the paper or the blank card. So that's interesting.
Yeah. I think it's beautiful.
That's really beautiful. It reminds me of there is this movie called The Illusionist, and it has a scene in the movie which is very similar to this, where a painting just appears to be painted like right before you.
Yeah.
And I had a theory on this because there are some there are some liquids and stuff which only become visible when they become wet.
Yeah, but they even had, you know, in the past, like this kind of cards with the thread here, you know, so you were pulling and the pips were moving and making it. So we don't know. I think it depended on the illumination of the place. We don't know, or maybe Ottokar Fischer was like too motivated to describe just a simple color change, but Hofzinser used to interpret it like this. You had the feeling like painting the car, like I don't know.
Yeah, but what makes it interesting also is that it says or a white sheet of note paper. And also when he says slowly a picture will appear, like in my mind, like I just see him holding a card and just go.
Yeah, like the invisible ink that is visible when you put some fire close, right? This kind of things. Yeah, do you know this kind of pens that come with a rubber band on the top? Sorry, a rubber on the top, and
Yeah,
you can
the friction pens.
Yeah, so if you add some warm, some hot, you know, like you can remove the ink from a paper.
Yeah, those are called friction pens.
Yeah,
I think I have one here. Let's see. So I bought one when I was young, and then recently I saw some some company trying to sell these on Instagram for like nope, some company trying to sell these pens on Instagram for like 25 to 30 euros per
200
pen.
euros.
No, but like 35. I was like thinking of posting under it, like, yo, dude, what the fuck? Don't get this. These things are called friction pens. And when I was a kid, I bought them for 3 euros. Is it this? Oh yeah, there we go. Cool.
Yeah.
So here, these things. They're called pilot friction ball, and essentially just to show you.
Yeah, like
so here we have a beautiful letter from Alva.
Write a 6 with a normal pen and then complete the circle, like making an 8 with the other one.
Exactly. I'm afraid that this pen is going to be blue and the other one is going to be black, but we'll see.
Well, it's going to make it like more evident. It's a color change of the number.
Yeah, wow, this looks like shit, but hey. Look, there we go.
Okay, is it a penis?
Yes.
Potatoes.
You know I'm a good friend because you gave me this beautiful letter and I'm gonna burn it. So, these things.
Better from behind, I think.
Oh, better from here. I think from the front should work fine.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, essentially what this shit just does is it gets removed when it becomes hot. That's why it's called a friction pen, because at the end there's like a friction rubber. And if you rub over the pen, it removes the thing. So also here it says hello.
And then it appears goodbye.
To it.
Goodbye.
Exactly. It's gone. But
nice.
Yeah, so this could have also been something that could have worked. Although it says he had a blank piece of paper, which if he had a black one, we knew how it worked, but we had a blank one.
Nice. Okay.
Could you also make this inked in white?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Be nice.
Because he was known to use candles also. So, hey. Okay. The magic finger ring. A card is drawn and shown and will suddenly appear in a finger ring held by a spectator behind his back. So then what do I have to imagine? Like a card is someone takes off their ring, holds this behind their back the whole time.
Well,
Someone picks a
this,
card, and when they look, there's like a card inside the finger ring rolled up.
yeah. So, but maybe the ring is with a rope or something like that, or a thread,
With a necklace, or there's something around the ring, we don't know.
Yeah. The Spanish edition says a chosen card appears rolled in a length finger ring.
A borrowed finger ring, yeah. Gotcha.
Sorry, in a borrow, yeah. So it doesn't say anything about that's so in the back or.
No, I got you.
But it's okay.
But no, but that's it doesn't say anything about behind the back.
No.
Hmm.
But it's interesting if the card appears there.
Oh, but it's still interesting because it appears like a finger. So the ring is around it, which is borrowed.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, next one.
Strange harmony. A spectator will be asked to draw a pip card from the rest of the pack. 2 more cards are drawn. The pips on these 2 cards will be added up to the number on the first card. Wait. The spectator will be asked to draw a pip card, right? From the rest of the pack, 2 more cards will be drawn. The pips of these 2 cards will add up to the number on the first. Okay, yeah. So a card is drawn, for example, the 8 of spades. 2 other people pick 2 fours, which make 8.
Well, in the Spanish edition, it's a little bit different. A spectator cuts a little packet of cards from the deck. From the rest of the deck, the magician asks to someone to pick 2 cards. Okay.
Yeah.
The addition of the values of these 2 cards is the number of cards that the other person cut.
Oh, that's even better. Yeah, that's much better.
So I have a version on this plot, but the thing is, it is more or less the same than many others who had developed the same, like Danny Ortiz, Miguel Angel Gea, my friends on this. All of us, we had like the same solution for this. Okay.
Now I really want to actually just get the original German version of the book.
Yeah. Well, Magic Christian has done like a lot of work on this, so we should get like Magic Christian. Yeah, and he has clarified like a lot of things. Actually, I don't know if, because I think the plot is like very, but very, very, very interesting, and there's something here in this plot that.
Wait, what? We have the Hofzinser book in the Library of the King of the Netherlands.
But
yeah, what the fuck? Go on.
But which one? Like Magic Christians?
The German one.
Really?
The Kartenkunst, yeah.
Long life to the king, right? Isn't Let me see. If I... Fuck, I'm making something wrong. Oh yeah, sorry. So much wrong.
Good job.
One minute, no. Yeah, I got it. Because I think this is going to clarify a lot, you know, the what I want to. What the fuck is going on here, guys?
I don't know, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
Yeah, so I'm trying to. You can't see anything. Maybe like this, more or less.
Good job, Pablo. We can still not see anything.
Well, maybe
But
the glass.
But you're doing fabulous.
Can you see the glass?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, this is going to be my prediction. Okay, so someone shuffles the deck and cuts the deck as well. Okay, and someone cuts a packet of cards. So tell me a stop. It has to be like less than the half because you don't have too much cards.
Otto.
Here. Okay, and we leave this maybe. Okay, I can let me move the cards. I'm going to leave the packet there, and I'm going to grab these two. Okay, so we have a 10 and a jack. So the addition is
21.
21. Okay, so let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah.
Now you see, I feel this is nice, but at the same time, it needs like a second and third phase.
Yeah, probably a second one, but yeah, that's nice. Well, one of my favorites is the next one. I think it's one of the best.
Cards and banknotes. A pip card is drawn from the pack. Then several banknotes are shown and one is chosen. The pips on the card will add up to the sum of the numbers on the banknote. Which essentially means that the pips of the cards will match the barcode on the banknote or the serial number.
Well, in this case, like some cards are chosen. Some cards. Okay, so you make the coincidence with the addition of the numbers of the notes and the addition of the values of all the cards.
Yeah.
So I've adapted this, you know, like making the coincidence of the serial number.
What do you mean with the addition? Like, let's say that the value of all the numbers on the note combined is 50, and then also the combined number of the cards is 50.
No, like, you know, every note has a serial number.
Yeah, I understand, but you said addition, so you add them to each other, which does this like mean that in this case we would do 0 plus 7 plus 6 plus 7 plus 3 plus 6 plus. Okay.
And then the final number, you know, like the solution of the addition, you know, it's equal to the solution of the addition of the values of the selected cards. Okay. I do something different, you know, like I have the serial number and I have some selected cards in a glass, and they are saying like 9, 2, 9, 7, like many other magicians, you know, like Rubialis to that, does that, and yeah. Okay.
Okay, I think this is a nice place to stop, and we can continue the other ones next week.
Yeah, because
it's quite late. I'm getting a bit tired, and
it's
otherwise the podcast is going to be really long also.
Yeah, it's going to be like an audiobook. So
welcome to the Invisible Practice audiobook.
So thank you so much, guys. for being with us today. We will continue next week with doing the rest of the problems. We will start to work on the problems for Patreon followers. So if you are not in Patreon, you should, because we are going to share like new things, new historical podcasts, and and I think it's going to be like very nice because we are going to be jamming with some followers from the Patreon, right?
Yeah, exactly. That being said, I want to thank our
Subscribers.
Patreons: Kit Oldman, Rinan Kamal, Daniel Trill, Hang Lim, Mohammed Nayat, Kwariun, Fritz Alkemade, Jeffrey van Vliet, Radak Pekni, and Steve Brownlee. And we hope to see those. We hope
And
to see those
Johan
guys at the gym.
Hofzinser.
And Johan Hofzinser, which has been our Patreon before we were ever born. See you guys next week, and have a great one.